friends, so today I wanted to go over my pile of possibilities for November. I don't usually do TBRs, but I have a lot of buddy reads planned for this month, and I'm just in the mood for a lot of Christmas books, historical fiction, mysteries, and so I'm just gonna share my pile of possibilities, and maybe you guys can help me pick what books I should prioritize this month. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. First, I have some books here that I am carrying over from October. I wasn't able to finish them, and first is A Voice in the Wind. This one I'm only a few chapters in, but it is a reread and I'm really loving it. Obviously, it's one of my favorite books of all time, so this will definitely get finished in November. I also started a reread of Shadow of the Storm. This is book 2 in the Out from Egypt series by Connie Lynn Cassette, one of my favorite authors. I'm so happy to be back in this book with these characters, and yeah, excited to keep reading this throughout November. Next, we have The Poison Thread by Laura Purcell. I'm halfway through this and loving this book. It's intense, it's pretty dark, but I love it so much. It's my first Laura Purcell, and I have a feeling this is going to be a 5 stars. So hopefully it is a 5-star, and I guess we'll just have to wait and see until my November wrap up. And then I have a Victorian classic that I was hoping to squeeze in to finish before the end of October. I didn't make it, but that's completely okay. I'm still considering it a Victober read. I just didn't get a chance to finish it this month. That is Lady Audley's Secret. Also loving this and can't wait to talk about it later on, but yeah, this is just so good. All right, so moving on to the books I want to read in November. I'm not going to go through any of the books' synopses because there are so many books here that are part of my pile of possibilities, and this video is just going to be way too long if I go into the summaries of each of these books. But first I'm going to go over the books that I have planned for buddy reads, and the first one is In Darkling Wood by Emma Carroll. This I plan on reading with Sam from the Book Bunch, and I'm so excited to read this. It is a historical fiction fantasy middle grade book, and it's kind of centered around a mysterious forest called Darkling Wood, so really looking forward to this buddy read and can't wait to share my thoughts on the book once I've finished it. Next up, we have The Enchanted Sonata by Heather Dixon Walwork. This is a retelling of The Nutcracker with a little sprinkle of The Pied Piper, and I am buddy reading this with my amazing friend Lindsay. She doesn't have a channel, but still trying to get her to make one, and yeah, I'm just so excited for this buddy read. It's gonna give off all the Christmas vibes, and it's supposed to be very musical as well, so I'm really excited. Yeah, I just can't wait to read this. Next is the book club pick for the Christian Fiction Book Club that we have here on YouTube, and we picked Fox for November. This is by Nadine Brandes. I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name, but this is, I think, in the 1600s. So it's 1600s London, and it has like some political intrigue, and I'm not sure if Guy Fawkes was a real person. He might have been, but yeah, really excited. And I think this might have a light fantasy twist to it, so really excited and curious to see what I think. I have read Romanov by Nadine Brandes and overall really enjoyed it, so looking forward to this one as well. I also have a buddy read planned for a much anticipated release, and that is The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber. This is book 2 in a duology that is a spin-off of Caraval, and I loved the Caraval trilogy so much, and I'm very excited to get back into the world and just meet the characters again. I'm really looking forward to it, and I am buddy reading this with Eliza from Eliza's Bookshelf. But yeah, I'm just so excited for this book and so excited to read it with Eliza. She's awesome. All right, so I have another pile of books that I am considering, I guess, priorities, but it's not a big deal if I don't get to each of them. I just hope that I can get to at least like half of these books. And first up, we have At Bertram's Hotel by Agatha Christie. This is the third to last book in the Miss Marple series, and I'd love to finish that series this year if I can. And I do have the last 2 books as well. They are Nemesis and Sleeping Murder. So if I can get to At Bertram's Hotel in November and maybe the next one and then the last one in December, not pressuring myself, but it would be nice to get the series done. It is nonfiction November, and I don't really read nonfiction all that much, but I do have this book and I have the audiobook coming in soon, so I'm hoping to listen to the audiobook while reading along, and that is In Cold Blood by Truman Capote. This is true crime, and so it's definitely up my alley, and I have very high expectations. I've only heard good things about this book, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. So this is definitely a priority for me in November, so I guess we'll see what I think. We also have The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. I was hoping to read this in October, didn't get to it. That's okay, hopefully sometime in November. It is quite short, so I think it'll be a quick read, and again, very high expectations, but I think it'll be great. I also have Catching Christmas by Terry Blackstock. Out of all the Christmas books that I recently got from the library, this is the one that I really want to prioritize in November. I'd love to read the others and I'll share them shortly, but this is definitely the priority out of that pile. I've heard great things. I heard it's very sweet and I'm really excited. It is short, so hopefully it's like the kind of book I can just, binge read in one go. But yeah, looking forward to it as well. I'd also like to get to Dr. Thorne by Anthony Trollope. This is the third Barsetshire book, and I read Barchester Towers for Victober. I will talk about it in my Victober wrap-up because I have some thoughts, and it was not a 5-star read, but I have high hopes for this one. I've heard this one's better. We'll see what I think, but yeah. I really need to get to this book by the end of the year, so this is probably going to happen in November as well. I also have this collection of stories. This is Five and Dime Christmas, 4 historical novellas by 4 different authors, and I'm hoping I can read at least one of them in November. I think they're all set in the 1800s, and they're all set in Pennsylvania, around this department store. I've never read any of these authors before as well, so really curious to see what I think. I have another book here that I've included in many of my TBRs in the past. I don't always share TBRs just because I don't really like to plan. I would prefer mood reading, but I have had this book on so many lists of books I need to read in April, books I need to read in June, etc., and I just haven't gotten to it yet. And I really want to, and I feel like November would be a good month for it. So that is Shadowy Horses by Susanna Kearsley. Still haven't read a Susanna Kearsley. I really need to fix that. I have a feeling that she will become a favorite author. I just have a feeling, so I need to read this book. I really do. If anyone wants to buddy read it with me in November, let me know. That will encourage me to read it even more. But yeah, I need to get to this eventually. I also want to read a couple historical fictions in November, and I have a pile here of a few books, and maybe you guys can help me choose what to read. This first one is Dual Timeline, and it's historical mystery, and that is Echoes Among the Stones by Jamie Jo Wright. And this is the last Jamie Jo Wright book that I need to read that I currently own. I don't have her 2 newest ones. But yeah, I feel drawn to this one. So this is definitely an option. And we also have Midnight on the River Grey by Abigail Wilson. This is supposed to be a Gothic Regency era mystery, so another option as well. I'm really leaning towards this next one. I've only heard amazing things, and that is In a Far Off Land by Stephanie Lansom. I have read 2 of Stephanie Lansom's books, and she can tell a story. She's a great author. And the 2 that I've read were actually biblical fiction. This is different. This is set in the 20s, so I'm definitely intrigued. And again, I've only heard amazing things. I also have Secrets of a Charmed Life by Susan Meissner. I do have 2 Susan Meissner books, but the other one seems very summery, so I'm kind of leaning towards this one. But let me know if you've read it and what your thoughts were. I've been meaning to read this next book for a while, and I just haven't gotten to it yet because it is a sequel to a book that I really loved, and I just need to know what happens next, and that is The Forgotten Kingdom by Signe Pike. I read the first book, which is The Lost Queen, and I loved it. It's set in the 5th century CE in what is now Scotland. It wasn't called Scotland then, but it's an Arthurian-inspired story, and it was so good. I really loved it, so definitely need to get to book 2 eventually. I've also kind of been craving Shakespeare, so I feel like November would be a good month to read Hamlet, and I did read this in high school, but it's been so long that I don't really remember too much about it, so maybe this will get read in November. I guess we shall see. I'd also like to read another Charles Dickens book, and I am reading his books in publication order. So the next one would be Martin Chuzzlewit, and we'll see if I start this in November. I might spread it out across November, December, maybe even into January. It depends on how I'm enjoying it and what I feel. I forgot to take it off my shelves, but we also have Les Mis, and I did start it, and I'm still only... how many chapters in? I don't remember, but I'm not too far in. And it's not that I wasn't enjoying it, but I put it down because of October and I was reading a bunch of other books, and I don't want to force myself if, I'm not enjoying it. And it's not that I wasn't enjoying it, but things weren't really happening. And I get it. It's a huge book, so I am just gonna be nice to myself and not force myself to read it within a certain amount of time. Every now and again, I will read a few chapters, and if I really get into it, I might read faster. It really depends on what I'm reading at the time, how I feel about it, and yeah, so I might read some more Les Mis in November. I guess we shall see. I've also kind of been in the dark academia mood, and because of that, I'm thinking maybe November would be a good time to read The Secret History. I don't know, I haven't read it before, I don't know what to expect, I don't know what to think. I know people have very polarizing opinions on this book. People seem to either love it or hate it, so curious to see where I end up. I don't know if I will get to it in November, but we'll see. All right, and this last pile is just some library books that I got, and they are all Christmassy, and I really need your help to pick which ones I should prioritize in November. First, we have a cozy mystery, and that is Rest Ye Murdered Gentlemen by Vicky Delaney. I'm definitely leaning towards this one, and I mean, just look at the cover. If any of you have read it, let me know what your thoughts were. We also have The White Christmas Inn by Colleen Wright. I heard this one is very much like a Hallmark movie, so if I'm in that kind of a mood, I guess I can pick this up, but not too sure yet. We have Comfort and Joy by Kristen Hanna, and I've heard very mixed things about this, so definitely curious to see what I think. We have historical fiction, and that is The Christmas Bells by Jennifer Ciavarini. And I've heard really good things about this one. It seems like a slower paced, I guess more heartwarming book. So we'll see if I get to it in November. I might save it for December if I'm able to renew my loan on it. But yeah, I guess we shall see about this one as well. And then we have 3 more mysteries. First, we have The 12 Sleighs of Christmas by Jacqueline Frost. And this one I definitely want to get to in November. It just sounds so good. And I love the cover as well. It is a Christmas tree farm mystery, and I'm pretty sure it's the first in the series. So really looking forward to it. And then I have 2 books in the Molly Murphy series by Reese Bowen. She also wrote the Her Royal Spinus series, and I really enjoyed the first book when I read it, and I'm not sure if I can read these 2 Christmas books because they are not the first in the series. And the first one is The Ghost of Christmas Past, and then we also have Away in a Manger. So these ones are kind of in random places in the series. If you've read the Molly Murphy series, if you've read these and you know anything about them, is it okay if I can read these without having read any of the other books in the series? And yeah, these are Christmas mysteries and I'm intrigued. So let me know if I am able to read it safely. All right, friends, that is my massive pile of possibilities for November. You all know that I read a crazy amount each month, but I still will not be able to get to all of these books. So let me know which books you think I would love, which ones you think I should prioritize. Besides my set buddy reads, I really have no idea what to read. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on the different books. And that is it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you all in my next one. Bye!